back, Book Girlies. I'm Sydney,
I'm Casey.
and today we're talking about one of my favorite authors, Tessa Bailey.
She's a very unconventional
Yeah,
author, I would say, and
yeah,
that's totally in the best way.
but it's
Her
like,
storylines are hilarious. Maybe,
yeah,
maybe it's not even the storyline. The characters
and like they're like
are
little
hilarious.
details and stuff. It's just like what, like, but if you ever like follow Tessa Bailey on social media, you're like that. Her personality is totally like her books, and I think it's so funny. But the first book that we're talking about is Fangirl Down, which was a book club pick of ours
And
last summer. I think it wasn't long after this book come out.
I think it was the first book.
Was it our first book?
You picked it, but I
don't
think
remember.
it was. I think because
no, I think it was
because it did just come out, and you were like, "Hey, we should just do this one," and I was like, "Because
Oh my
neither
God.
one of us had read it."
Yeah.
And so I think that was our first book that we picked.
I listened to this on audio because Callie Dalton narrates it, and she's one of my favorite narrators ever. So of course, I had
don't
to.
get caught listening to that out loud, because there is a scene in this book
that will have you like,
totally
oh, whoa,
caught me by surprise, and I instantly snapped Sydney and was like, oh, face was red because I was blushing because I was not expecting this whatsoever. And I'm like, excuse me, did you fail to mention that she was up in that booty hole?
It was so funny because I read it first, and I don't even think I finished it first, but I was ahead of Casey, and I knew once I read this scene, I was like, oh.
Yeah, because you sent back a video of you doing nothing but laughing because I was freaking out.
Casey sent me a snap, and she's like, what is this? And I was just cackling so hard because I was like, oh yeah, she's at that part.
Well, she did that reach around, and I was like, wait, I'm sorry.
Look, okay, so
I'm sorry.
Fangirl Down follows Josephine and Wells Whitaker. Wells is a golfer. He's a famous golfer, and she becomes his caddy. And I think that is just like the funniest dynamic ever, because like, I mean, who would?
But that's after she stalked him for the longest time.
She's like his number one fan.
Yeah. But she grew up not on a golf course, but
her family owns like a golfing sporting store, I think, or something like that.
So when he starts getting down on his luck or down on his playing, she was like there.
She's like hype. She's like major hype girl, like totally hype him up.
Girl.
She's like, yeah, Wells, you can do it.
I mean, emphasis on the fangirl part. But
literally, only Tessa Bailey can make a golf book hot. Because if anyone else was like, "Oh, I'm writing a golfing romance," I'd be like, boring.
It was hot, but I'm telling you that
it was so funny.
It was just that one scene
just got you.
Yeah, it was like, okay, like it was hot. Trust me.
Yeah.
Well, not that scene, but the rest of it was hot.
Yeah.
I think it could have gone without the reach
around.
That
one was a little well,
yeah.
But this one is part of a series. Oh my gosh, what is it called?
The Au Pair Affair, right?
Yeah. The Au Pair Affair is the next one, which is about. Have you read this one?
I did not read that one.
So this one is about Burgess and Tallulah, who you meet in Fangirl Down. Tallulah is Josephine's best friend, and Burgess is a hockey player, and so he's kind of like a famous sports person or whatever. So him and Wells know each other. This is a single dad hot nanny romance, and she ends up going to live with him because I think that she's in school or something. It's been a little bit since I've read it, but she ends up having to live with him, so it's definitely like forced proximity roommate.
Oh,
it's almost forbidden.
I love that trope, but my favorite book in that trope was, where is it? It was the Caught Up
by Liz Tomford. Oh yeah, that one.
That one is my favorite.
Yeah, this one is more like that one was more emotional. This one is more because it's Tessa Bailey. It's hilarious, and like the yearning that this man has, like he wants her so bad, but he like will not let himself have her because she's his kid's nanny, and him and his wife are divorced, and the kid's kind of having like a hard time with it. So it's like that dynamic where he's like, I'm not about to fuck up another relationship for my kid. But it is so funny the way that this man is so down bad. The things that he does for her is comical. It is so good. So good. Do you want to talk about the first book that we read by Tessa Bailey? Or that is that the first one that you read? Is Fix Her Up?
No. The first book that I read by Tessa Bailey was It Happened One
Oh,
Summer.
yeah. I feel like this one is the one that most people know her by. Is It Happened One Summer?
Loved this book.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, with how her comedic relief within her books and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
while this one was funny, this
Mhm.
was, I would have to say, more emotional of the books that I've read by her.
Yeah, I think it kind of took me by surprise because everyone was like, "Oh, Tessa Bailey's so funny, funny, funny."
Yeah.
This is like a Schitt's Creek inspired romance. So if you've
Mhm.
ever, which I've only seen like bits and pieces of Schitt's Creek that are hilarious,
Yeah.
but this is definitely like fish out of water, grumpy fisherman. What are the characters' names?
Piper and Brendan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So two sisters that, like, rich girls
Oh yeah,
moved
Valley Girls.
to this small fishing village, and they meet the oldest sister, Piper, who's has something to prove to their stepdad. They go back to the town where their real dad actually was born and raised and did his fishing, and they both kind of get a glimpse into the past, or not even really the past, but they get a better view of their actual father and then their mother too. And then they meet a long lost grandmother.
Yeah,
that
which is
still lives there.
She's really funny.
And they take over the bar that their father owned at one point, and they fix it up, and Piper ends up falling in love with Brendan.
It is really kind of more emotional than what I was like expecting.
Yeah.
I will say, because this one is like, it's about the Bellinger sisters.
Mhm.
This one's obviously about Piper. The next one is about her sister. I liked the second one, I think, better than I liked this one. Not that it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like the story.
I don't know. I think I liked this one a little.
Really?
I mean, trust me, I liked Hook, Line, and Sinker.
Yeah.
But I think I definitely liked It Happened One Summer better.
Yeah. I definitely liked It Happened One Summer. Hook, Line, and Sinker is about Fox and Hannah. This one starts off with text messages, which I love. I love text messages in books like that. Like, it's like 20 pages of text, and that shit had me hooked. I was like, give me this whole book could have been text, and I would have been totally fine. But Fox is like typical playboy. Everyone has like this preconceived notion that he's just like a ladies' man, and everyone in town knows him as that. And then Hannah is the
that one is definitely lighter than this one, I would say. In the
it's not as
realm
emotional. But Hannah is like the artsy, she listens to music and records, and she's into all that stuff, and she's really into music and wants to make music for movies. And so just kind of her leaving like her California town and going back to the, what is this town called?
It's Westport, Washington.
Yeah, she goes back to Westport, and because Piper ends up staying there, and then Hannah ends up going back to California. That's why her and Fox are texting, is because they're not in the same state.
I don't think that I could have a fisherman for a boyfriend, husband, fiance, any of that stuff, because have you watched Deadliest Catch?
Yeah. Well, so okay, not to like spoil where we live, but we live in like a fishing town, and I've been around fishermen my whole life, and let me just say, there are some that take care of themselves and they don't smell, and then there are some that just smell like they freaking crab ass.
Have the long raggly beards with the
like you have like cute, not so cute, definitely. So Brendan is one of the cute ones, though. So.
But yeah, no, I mean, you won't catch me on the boat of that size. Absolutely not. The first, well, what was it? It was The Perfect Storm. The cover had that boat. That it's a big boat, but in the cover of it on that wave,
movie?
No, because
it's
the
traumatizing.
Cover, yeah,
don't
well,
watch
the cover
it.
was enough for me. What is actually a huge boat looks very minuscule on this huge wave, and it looks like it's about to be turned upside down. No, thank you.
Casey was like, no.
Yeah, I never watched it, and that's why you will not catch me out at sea. And I ruin cruises for people.
Look, I've been on a cruise and it was totally fine.
Well, I know, but all my one of my front desk girls, she goes on multiple cruises throughout the year, but in the lead up preparation, I sent her nothing but TikToks of cruise ships on fire.
Dang, Casey.
Yeah. Oh, listen.
She's like, I'm just letting you, trying to get you prepared for your cruise.
Yeah, mentally prepare yourself.
Wow. Remind me never to go on a boat with Casey ever. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Look, the immensity of the ocean freaks me out.
It is a little daunting. So the next ones that we're going to talk about it's a series. It's about, well, it's 3 books. What is this series called? Dun, 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 dun. Couldn't freaking tell you. Don't know. But so Fix Her Up, Love Her or Lose Her, and Tools of Engagement are all interconnected standalones in like the same world. But the first book is Fix Her Up.
Loved it. Did not think I was going to love it. Sydney told me, so this book is about a girl who is a clown, and
I knew that was going to either like hit or miss a Casey, and I was like, I'm going to throw her for a loop.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
She's a clown?
Say that again.
Like, what do you mean? Like, she's like funny? And I was like, no, she's like a kid's party clown.
I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
You have got to be kidding me.
This one follows Georgette, and which they call her Georgie, and Travis Ford. And Travis Ford is a baseball player who
ex-baseball player.
Yeah, he isn't playing anymore. So you see like him kind of navigating life after baseball. The first like chapter of her finding him in his hotel room, and she like throws Chinese food at him. It's just really freaking funny. And this whole time, like you're reading it and you're like, she's a clown. But then like,
and he gasses her up for being a clown.
Yeah, he loves it. And then
I'm like, all right.
She has like this character arc where she doesn't just want to be a clown. And it's so funny like to talk about it and be like, she doesn't just want to be a clown. You should really read this book. And people are going to be like,
I'm not a clown, I'm an entertainer.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It's
strippers say they're entertainers all the time, but let's call a spade a spade. You're a stripper. So you're a clown.
I mean, it's very entertaining. But this is so funny in like just her having to like navigate like being a clown, and you know, she's the youngest.
It sounds so crazy. Her having to navigate being a clown.
She's the youngest.
That is so crazy.
She's the youngest in her family, and she wants people to take her seriously. She just wants to be taken seriously. Casey, stop laughing at her. And
she has to navigate the struggles of being a clown. Do I wear my red nose today or my blue one?
Oh my god. You're really convincing people to read this. Okay.
I don't know. The clown thing just gets me, okay?
It's like in a good way.
Listen, the book is fantastic. You should definitely read it. I'm not lying about that. It's just a clown thing.
It does take
me serious.
Oh my god. That's so funny. Oh my god, I'm dying.
Listen, the book is good.
So, anyways, that's the first one. This one is actually really good. I think it's really funny. You should definitely read it.
It's really funny. It's got me laughing.
It's really funny. So have you read the second book in this one?
No, because I didn't know that there was a second and third book.
Yep, there is. So this one is about Rosie and Dominic, and they are a married couple. It's a marriage in trouble, marriage in crisis trope, which is some of my favorite tropes because
Letters to Molly.
Yeah, because like they were already in love and once in their life, and then so not that they're not in love, but they feel like they've kind of become complacent, and Rosie is finally like putting her foot down and being like, no, I want more out of my life, and if that's not going to be with you, I love you, but best of luck to you. The way that Dominic, like, once he kind of realizes, like, Rosie's serious, this man does everything that he can to be, like, not, like, win her back, but, like, to show her, like, that they're still good, and, that, he's not going to kind of go back into, like, his old kind of ways of living and stuff like that. Just because they're broken up for a good bit of this book does not mean it's not spicy. Oh my god. Some of the spice in here, I was like, whoa.
Listen, Tessa Bailey knows how to put some spice in some spice
Holy
in a book.
moly. This was actually probably my favorite book in the series. But it's so funny because they go to marriage counseling, and the marriage counselor is like the weirdest fucking person. And like that is like the most comedic.
What that reminds me of? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, where her friend is the marriage
That's
counselor.
Exactly. That is exactly what like the marriage counselor in this is, and like makes them do like the weirdest things as like a relationship builder, and it is freaking comedic gold. I love this one. I think this is actually my favorite in the whole series. Have you read Tools of Engagement?
No, I told you I didn't know there was 2 more books.
Tools of Engagement is about Bethany, which is Georgie's older sister. So Georgie's family has like a home construction business. Bethany is like their stager, kind of like the real estate agent
Yeah.
type thing. And then they have an older brother who is more like construction. So Bethany is like, I want to be more on the construction side of things. I don't want to just stage homes anymore. I want to get into like the building and the what's it called? Like whenever they do like the floor plans and stuff.
Architect?
Yeah. She kind of wants to do more of like planning out how the house is going to look type thing, structurally wise. So Bethany and her brother end up like feuding, and so they get like this HGTV type sibling rivalry.
Rivalry.
Yeah, that I can't say that rivalry. Yeah, a sibling
Whoa. Rivalry.
rivalry.
There you go.
A sibling rivalry. I can't say that word. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? They get a show and they got to, compete against each other on basically like you get one house, you redo this house. You get one house, you redo this house. Well, Bethany is working on her house, and there's a man that gets hired, and his name is Wes, and he's younger than her. He is like a guardian of his niece, I believe. It is actually really good, and it's super funny, like the dynamic between like Bethany and her older brother of like them like trying to outdo each other, but then also like her and like Wes's story, like them together, and then Wes and like his niece. Super fun. I really liked it. It's not my favorite in this series. It's probably my third favorite. But it wasn't bad. I really did enjoy it.
I will say Secretly Yours, I read it, but it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, so I really liked this one. This one was about Hallie and Julian, and Julian's family is like a wine, like a vineyard.
I think it was him. That was the reason, because he was
He's
like
a little
like
different. Yeah,
reclusey kind of.
yeah. I feel
I
like
didn't.
he's like he's trying to write a book, so he kind of like goes into like his little like hobbit cave to like write this book, and just like Hallie is a gardener and like a florist, and what are they called, botanist or something?
Yep, botanist.
Yep, that thing. And so that's what she does, is like flowers and all that good stuff. And
in 7th grade, I went all the way to state in the science fair
again
for
with
botany.
the random like accomplishments, Casey.
I did. I went to in 7th grade. I went all the way to state for in the science fair, and my category was botany.
Did you grow something?
I grew a lot of somethings.
Like what?
I don't remember exactly what the plant was, but it was testing the different types of soil to see what helped grow the plant faster and healthier and stronger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guess what? I can't even have a fucking cactus because I kill it. So congratulations. Yeah. But so Hallie does flowers and stuff. Well, Julian sees her doing like some landscaping and stuff around his family vineyard. Immediately he's like, who is this woman? I need to know who she is. She's fantastic. She's lovely. She is beauty. She is grace. She's Miss United States.
Wasn't there like a scene in this book where they were in town and there was some big debacle that he had to jump in on because of her?
I think so. This one is.
It's been a while since I've read that one.
I've read these, but these ones weren't my favorite. I've really liked her sports romances lately.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was hard for me to finish that one.
I liked it. I didn't love it, but I really liked it. So yeah, there's that one. The next one in this series is about Julian's sister, Natalie, and Natalie has just been fired from her job. Have you read this one?
No, I didn't read that one.
Yeah,
because I didn't totally love the last one, and I finished it.
Yeah,
but
just wasn't obsessed with it.
No.
Yeah. So
that's one of those things. Like if I don't like the one book, it's hard for me to continue on in that series.
See, I will most of the time. Like if it's just like one character, I can still finish a series. But if it's like the whole world and like the writing, I don't really care for it. But this one is actually my favorite out of this series. Unfortunately, yours is about Natalie, who gets fired from her job. And she is kind of she not that she's like the family fuck up, but she thinks that she's like the family fuck up, so she feels like she has to like prove herself. Well, so after she gets fired, she like tucks tail and goes back to the vineyard. Well, in order for her to get um like recognition and stuff and some money, she has to marry Mr. August Cates. I almost called him Gates. It's August Cates. And August owns a winery himself, like a different one. And he's fucking horrible at making wine. Like the wine sucks. He like takes it. Now, mind you, they're like in Napa Valley, like Vineyard freaking Central.
This may be weird input, but how can you be bad at making wine?
Um,
Because once you grow the grapes and then you squish the grapes and you get the juice, don't you just like? I guess you have to put like yeast and sugar in it.
Lord
But
only knows.
But really, the fermenting process, you really just have to like let it sit. So how can you really mess it up?
August knows how. I'll tell you that because literally, like that's how him and Natalie meet is like at like a wine tasting thing for like all the local wineries, and she like literally spits this shit out, and she's like, "That's fucking horrible. It's the worst thing I've ever tasted." And he's like, excuse me, why are you talking shit about my wine?" And so it's kind of like an enemy, not enemies, but like rivals almost. And then so Natalie needs,
Sometimes rivals are hot.
yeah, Natalie needs money, and so does August. And she kind of wants to be like, you know what? I'm going to take a step away from like the family vineyard, and I'm going to help August with his, because clearly we know what we're doing. And I'm going to show my mom that, yeah, I'm not the family fuck up. So that's what they do. They get married so that Natalie can get her inheritance. And so just kind of like them navigating that is really funny. I will say this one was like my favorite. And this man is obsessed with her. Oh, and August is like an ex-Marine or something. He's ex-Army, ex-Marine. I don't know, but it's super hot. And like that kind of comes into play like with August and like his backstory.
I love
military men. Good thing we're in a military town. I shouldn't have said that. Whatever.
They're gonna start closing in that radius.
That's okay. But yeah, so this one was definitely my favorite out of the series. I would recommend giving this a try if you're like wanting a Tessa Bailey book, but not really sure.
I have a long list of TBRs right now that I have to work through, and yeah, that one's gonna be it definitely would be a while before I read that one.
So Tessa Bailey's newest release, which is a part of the I think it's called like Hot Shots series, is like her sports romances. So it goes with Fangirl Down and the All Pair Affair. This one is Dream Girl Drama, which
look at those sprayed edges.
This is a beautiful, beautiful book. This is like the regular version, but there is like a Barnes and Noble exclusive, a Target exclusive. So, but I really liked this one, so I chose this one. And the front is like shiny. I love it. So this is about Sig and Chloe. Sig and Chloe meet on like a happen chance, like once in a lifetime meeting. And
have you read it?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you did read it.
So this one I was actually given an early copy of. Obsessed. And but anyway, so Sig and Chloe, they kind of like meet in like a what's it called, a happenstance,
I think it's happenstance,
something like that, like once in a lifetime kind of meeting. And it is kind of like insta lovey, where they like fall, like they meet each other and they just like have like the best night. Well, guess what, a couple hours later he's like, hey, I have something to do later. She's like, yeah, so do I. Like, we're gonna meet up after whatever we're doing. Well, guess what, they both show up to a house. Surprise! Your mom and your dad are getting married, so they are future step siblings. So yeah,
Tessa, I'm not surprised that you would do something like that.
But it's so funny because like they just had, and they've kissed. So they met like before they found out that they were going to be step siblings.
Aren't we missing a Tessa Bailey book in this? What is that murder book? That murder romance?
Murder. Oh, I don't have that. My Killer Vacation.
Yeah.
I don't have a physical copy of that. But yeah.
You gave me one.
I bought it for you for Christmas.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Usually she just like rebuys what she already has.
Yeah. That one I do have the ebook on my Kindle.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no. But anyways, to finish this one, then we'll talk about My Killer Vacation because I really liked that one.
I did too.
But this one is really funny because it's like, you know, they fall in love and they not fall in love, but they become infatuated with each other and they're like, oh my god, like I've met the love of my life.
Step bro.
Just kidding. Yeah, you're gonna be step siblings. And then they're like, well, that's inappropriate. We can't do that. But Chloe has been kind of like under her mom's thumb because she's like a harpist, or a harp like prodigy. And her mom kind of keeps her underneath like her thumb with that. And then it kind of gets exposed where she like ends up moving to Boston with Sig. And Sig is trying to help her navigate like life on her own and stuff like that. All the while they're like, oh my god, I just, you know, why do we have to be step siblings? And like them the whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, how are they gonna get over that? Like the mom and dad are like in love, like they're gonna get married, like you're gonna be step siblings, you're gonna just end up having to screw each other as step siblings, like it's just gonna be
what
taboo.
are they just like, what is that when you separate from your parents? It's
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Not
but they're over the age of 18, so it doesn't really matter. But like they love their parents and they're like, well, Chloe loves her mom. And she's like, yeah, just like them navigating that is super funny. And like the yearning that they both have, like they want to be together so bad, but they know like Chloe's in the public eye, Sig is in the public eye, and the public is just not gonna allow for that because Sig is a professional hockey player. And so they just know like it's just not gonna work. But them going through that is actually freaking hilarious. And there's a cute dog in this. And there's like a scene in this book that kind of hints as to what the next book in the Hot Shot series is going to be, and I cannot wait.
So while Sydney is looking this up, we are going to start soon in putting together. You already have it up?
No.
Oh. We are going to be starting the process of getting our own studio put together.
Yeah, you'll have to follow us on TikTok to see how the studio is going. My family has like we're going to call it.
It's going to be we're turning it into our she shed.
Yeah, we're calling it the podcast studio, but it definitely is a shed. As of right now, it's a shed,
and we're turning it into our she shed. And it's going to be where we start filming the videos because love you, LJ. We have to navigate around you to get these things done.
My daughter definitely wants to be a book girly. She wants to be in the podcast. Yes. She just wants to be with us all the time. If the
girls are doing something, she is there and she is in the middle of it, and it makes it quite hard because she's practicing being a ninja and she wants to turn, flip, kick you, all kinds of stuff. And yeah, you don't need to see flying kicks at my head. So
well, and then you hear her the whole time.
Yeah, and watching the phone and whatnot.
Yeah, so. It's really funny.
But yeah, no. So we are creating a studio. We're gonna kind of. You can follow the process on TikTok because we're gonna be posting videos about it, putting it together, cleaning it up, all that fun stuff. So yeah, and it's gonna be cute.
So the next book is
My Killer Vacation. And this is about Miles and Taylor.
Super cute.
Taylor and her brother, they're going on vacation and they rent this house and they get the best surprise ever when they walk in. And you want to know what that was? Dead body.
Yeah, for sure.
Wasn't it like shoved behind the washing machine or the dryer or something like that?
The way that they discover it is pretty funny. And then like Taylor, she's like a kindergarten teacher or something, but she's like obsessed with true crime. So like she automatically goes into like detective mode where she's like, I'm gonna figure this murder out.
Same thing.
Honestly, like the whole time I'm reading it, that's why I bought it. I bought this for Casey for Christmas a couple years ago, and the whole time I'm reading it, I'm thinking this is something that Casey would do. Casey would be like, "Oh, there's a dead body. Let me help you with the investigation." Like I would be like, "Peace out. I need a refund, and I'm gonna go like two doors down. Like I'm gonna need another house."
Yeah, but she does end up helping with the investigation, but at the same time, because she's inserting herself in it in a way,
she's kind of
she's making herself a target.
She's hindering the process too.
So she makes herself a target there, and now whoever it is that killed the person in the vacation house is now coming after her. And then of course Miles is like, I'll protect you.
Yeah, and honestly, it's so funny because like Miles like cannot stand her like at first, and he's like, oh my god, she, what is she doing? She doesn't need to be inserting herself. Yeah, and then he's like, he's almost like saving her from herself a couple times in this, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just I really like this one. It is on the shorter side. I think it's shorter than her other books.
Oh yeah.
But it was such a funny read, and like them like becoming obsessed with each other is just so comical. I really, really liked it.
I did too.
Yeah.
It was a good book.
Yeah. But yeah.
And God, please never let me walk into a vacation house with a dead body in it.
I would scream.
As much as I would try to figure out who killed them, I also don't want to see dead bodies.
I would be traumatized.
Yeah, pretty much.
I am not into that. I would run and hide, truly. Yeah. But yeah, come back next week, because next week we are doing our St. Patrick's Day episode, and you'll have to follow us on Instagram and TikTok to figure out what that one's going to be about. If you want to take,
or should we just say it?
Do you want to say it?
Might as well. I don't know what books we're talking about specifically, but in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day and the luck of the Irish,
what is hotter than an Irish man?
What is hotter than an Irish?
Specifically,
and even hotter, let's just add to that hotness, Irish mafia man.
Yeah, love it. So next week we're talking all things Irish mafia.
Yeah.
And me and Casey have been gearing up for this episode for a while. Like she was going through a mafia mafia kicked like a month ago.
Yeah, a phase of mafia, and yeah, I was like, why not?
She was like, I need all the mafia books. And then we knew St. Patrick's Day was coming up. I'm like, Irish mafia! Like, oh my gosh, it's so funny. So we're going to be talking about all of our favorite Irish, hot Irish mafia men next week.
We will.
All right. That's it.
All right.
Bye, book girlies!
Mwah. Update on Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome. Yeah, he checked out before he was supposed to. And nobody told me. And when I found out, I cried. Not really, but I was kind of sad.
I was upset.
Because I just wanted to say bye.
I was planning our wedding.
I see that everybody is going crazy about Wild Side by Elsie Silver. And how hot it is.
I just know that this is going to be my new favorite Elsie Silver book. I don't care.
And I'm excited to read it, but when I went to download it, I realized I didn't read the second book in that series.
Yeah, so don't hate me. I read the second book. Well, I started it. I got like 70% of the way through and I fucking quit. Purely because I hate the celebrity trope. And I don't know what it is, but the female main character was just annoying me. Like, she was fine in like the present setting where she was at, but like she's like talking about her, not to like spoil it for you or anything, but she like,
I'm in chapter 2. So.
Yeah, she like talks about her past, like, and she's like, oh, I can't believe I let him or my dad, do this to me and them treat me this way. And I'm like, I don't like whenever girls are dumb in books like that, where she's like manipulated and she's like, I had no idea. And I'm like, really? You had no idea?
Like the ditzy.
Yeah, I didn't like that. On top of like the celebrity trope, so I had to quit.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give it a chance just because it's Elsie Silver. She's never done me wrong so far.
Look, I'm telling you, Wes, I think is the male.
Weston.
His point of view, I fucking loved it. I would have just read a book just about him.
Like, single dad. Well, I think one thing you will learn about us, if you don't already know, I love a cowboy, love a rancher.
Hot. I love a single dad. Cowboy.
Yeah, single dad.
It's just like, you want to make me breakfast because you're also cooking your daughter's pancakes? Sold. You know how to braid their hair? You want to braid my hair? You can do it.
Yeah. No, I've always liked the books that I've read that are about single dads, but yeah, they're just really.
They definitely.
I'm growing more fond over.
I fucking love a single
book by book. Yeah.
Yeah, single dad.
But that's what that series is, really.
It's all single dads.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Rose Hill, and it's all single dads because they're like in like a bowling league, and it's every dad. It's every dad that's in the bowling league, and I think that is so funny because like some people are like, "Woo, bowling league!" and then everyone else is like, "Yay, bowling league! We're so excited!" And I think it's Wes that's like, "Yeah, bowling!"
I think you underestimate a bowling league. To be honest,
I
was
am.
in a bowling league when I was little.
This is new information to me.
I was in a bowling league, and I was actually good? Yeah. Me and my best friend that lived up the street, Carly, we were in a bowling league together. Our parents were always hanging out. Me and her were always at each other's houses, but we were part of a bowling league. And we actually went to the state finals.
Wow.
And I think we were like 10 or 11.
Casey. Look, I could never because I have no aim. Like everyone, like if we go bowling,
we were ripping like these older people in bowling,
ripping the alleys.
I mean, we were actually really good. But
we're kicking all these old people's ass.
One thing about Leanne is she kept us busy when we were little.
She said, "You don't have nothing to do, bowling league."
Yeah. Hey, it was fun, but yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah.
All right.